Good afternoon, everybody. This is Mr. Blackstone coming to you live today, and today we are doing, going to be doing my second coat of varnish. But first, before I do that, I got to do a bit of sanding, so you always got to sand in between coats. So that's what I shall be doing now. Yeah. So now I got my mountain of sandpaper. I think 2000 is probably the lightest I have. 600. Oh wait, I got 3000. I think 3000 is probably the. So that's 2000, 2000. 2000. Okay, that's 1500, so 1000 goes there. So I think I'm going to probably start out with this part. I'm not used to using sandpaper when I do in between coats of varnish. I'm used to using something else, but used to using steel wool. So now, and one of the, so there's an area right there where I got some run. Now, yesterday, you guys might have noticed I did things a little bit unconventional yesterday, which was, with doing the first coat, you don't have to, you can make a couple of mistakes. It doesn't matter if it's a bit rough. When you get into the second coat, though, you really, really have to you have to be really, really precise in what you're doing. So right now, I'm just kind of roughing it up a little bit. You don't need to press down very hard. And two, you'll notice that I'm doing really light coats. That's intentionally because the reason for doing light coats is, well, you can do heavier coats, and you would require less coats to do. But one, it takes longer to dry, and two, you could be in for like a heavy amount of sanding, because if you get a run or something like that because of the thickness of the coat, it will just So the lighter coats, I may have to do like 5 or 6 coats, maybe not. That all depends. On how nice I can make it look. I'm not doing heavy sanding. I'm just very, very lightly, just enough to kind of give it, just to roughen it up a bit. So when I put that second coat on, it'll adhere to it. So so you guys, actually what I should do is, because I'm not gonna fuck around with that. I don't like fucking around. So what I'm gonna do is get my box out. I'm gonna put the guitar on top of the box. That way I don't have to keep fucking with the so you guys can see what I'm doing without me having to keep fucking around. So I'm just barely scratching the surface and just getting it kind of like a color. I'm going to do the top of the mat. And another reason why I don't have to be very picky with the first coat is because a lot of what's happening is the varnish is just setting inside the wood, so it's kind of penetrating into the wood. So that's another thing too. So it's being more penetrated than what it's actually going on top. So that's this fucking thing out of my way. Alright, you guys can see what I'm doing here. Unfortunately, I only have the one camera that's the camera from my laptop here, so that's unfortunately that's all I've got. Yeah. Alright. Sorry guys. It'd be nice if I had a better. If I had another camera that way to get through the fucking camera, but of course it can't be that fucking easy. Shit is never that fucking easy, unfortunately, in life. But I guess that's just the way it fucking goes, right? So. And you don't have to go with the grain when you're doing the sanding in between coats. You know, actually it's good to sand one way for one coat and then sand another way on the other coat. Kind of alternate. And how you do it's your choice. But it is definitely you want to alternate between coats for sure. I know you guys can't see me when I'm back here. Unfortunately, it's Not really anything exciting I'm doing, just a bit of sanding, and that's it. I don't know why that's not colored, but I'll fix it. It would be much easier using steel wool. At least I think it would be. I don't know about anybody else, but then it all comes down to what you're used to. So. There's one part where I'm going to need to use a heavier grain sandpaper, and it's going to be right here. Right where I put the wood fillet. Alright, so there we go. I just had to use my Sharpie in a small little area. Just to cover a certain spot. And I achieved that, so I'm happy about that. Run here. That's not a big deal right now at this point. I don't need to worry about that. That's one good reason about one good advantage, or I should say good reason why I'm doing thin coats is just in case I do get any runs. It's going to be a hell of a lot easier for me to sand it out than what it would be if I did thick coats. Because with a thick coat, you could be fucking sanding for hours just to try to get rid of it, and you may never. That's one of the natures of the beast. When that happens, I mean, you're always going to when you're making anything, you're always going to have issues. You know, it's going to happen. You know, so it's just a matter of dealing with it. You know, not getting upset about it and just move on and. Alright, the regular sandpaper that I'm using. fucking contending with shit. Part of it. It might look like I'm pressing down hard, but actually I'm not. I'm just being really light. Hey, how are you? Hi, everyone. It's a great day to varnish. Yeah, it is a good day to varnish. Yeah, so right now I'm just sanding for the second coat. Yeah, I'm not used to doing the sanding part with sandpaper. I'm used to using steel wool, but all the luthiers use sandpaper, so it's not what I'd be preferring to do, but I'm going to go with what people that know more than I do about this stuff. In carpentry, we always use steel wool. So I was finally able to get that. Yeah, you probably can't see from here, but it's kind of a little bit, if I can just, it's because of the sanding, it's a bit rough. You get that whiting, but once I put the second coat on, all that's going to disappear. So, yeah. Too bad Manny wasn't watching. Then he could give me some tips on using sandpaper for in between coats. It's always nice to have people that know more about this stuff than you kind of giving you tips and that. The Luther community is a good community and everybody's pretty friendly. It's actually the most friendly community on Twitch. Everybody's willing to help and offer advice, and nobody's, causing any problems like they do on other types of streams. Especially those that present world events and news, they can get pretty heated. The second coat, I'm going to have to be really, really careful, because the first coat of doing any varnishing of anything with any wood, that's when the sealant goes and it gets absorbed into the wood. So more of this is actually absorbed into the wood than what it's actually sitting on top. So, and what I'm doing is I'm just kind of sanding, I'm sheening off the top part, so that what you got the stuff that's absorbed into the wood, and then the second coat will be where it actually goes, where it's actually going to be sitting right on top. So, but then that depends on the wood and the grains and how big the grains are. Labor, yeah, yep. And two, this is kind of a magical guitar, so I'm putting good energy into it. It's going to be used professionally, so that's one of the reasons why I spent a lot of money on the parts. I mean, if I were to buy a guitar with everything that I wanted, it would cost me around $7,000. So, and I still wouldn't get what I wanted. Like, I probably wouldn't get those pentagrams that I drew. And I wouldn't have my energy into the guitar body. So that's Yeah, sanding, woodworking is definitely a labor of love. It really is. You have to really love it in order to do it, to want to do it. There was a time when musicians didn't have any choice but to make their own instrument. That's how the 12-string guitar was invented, actually. It was invented by Hubby Leatherby, better known as Leadbelly. So, Michael, how are you doing these days? Oh, yeah. Probably watching Manny and then coming to watch my stream, you're probably thinking, that's not how Manny does it. Yeah, it's he does really, really good work. I've seen, yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice if he could come here and give me some tips and that, but you know, that'd be cool if he did. Yeah, so woodwork of all methods, yeah. Yeah. So if it doesn't really look like I know what I'm doing, it's because yeah, it's I'm kind of having doubts and wishing I would have went with steel wool, but the problem is with steel wool, what's going to happen is that little particles will get into the electronics, and I don't want that. I mean, I spent a lot of money on the pickups, so yeah. Now the good thing is B. Bumstead said that I don't need to put a ground wire, so that's a good thing. I'm happy about that. Yeah, well, I know a lot about woodworking. I used to do carpentry work. So the woodworking part I have licked. But there's just some, nobody knows it all. Yeah, I wish I did, but I don't. uh, yeah, so it's working with, so with if you ever decide you're going to build a guitar, it's very hard work. If you've done regular carpentry, it's a different animal. Because now instead of using steel wool, I got to use sandpaper, and there's a few other things that are a bit different, but. Oh yeah, I'm beginning to get this to shine now, which is good. That's what I want. And I have to make sure that this is completely cleaned off when I do, before I put the second coat on, because if it's not completely cleaned off, it's gonna, so the first coat, it don't matter because most of it's just getting soaked into the wood. Second coat though, it's got to be pretty much perfect. So right now, the grade of sandpaper that I'm using 1000. I don't know if that's enough, if that's a high enough grid or not, but it seems to be doing the job, so I'm going to go with it. Oh, we got some bird visitors. Oh, 2 mourning doves. Hey there, birdies. You want to come and see what I'm doing? Carpentry's not really that hard. Most of the thing you're going to be doing more often than anything else is sanding. That's why when you're watching what's his name, what's that other guy's name? And he does the sanding on while he's streaming. Hank. Yeah, he does his yeah. So you'll see him looks like he's not doing anything because he'll be just like, hey, how you doing, everybody? And he's got the sandpaper in his hand. So we're coming to a close of another summer. The birds want to know, yeah, they're just sitting out on the driveway and they're just like walking around. Not a care in the world. So if you notice that sign behind me, see that's Audio Productions. It's where I do all my music work. My writing partner, that's Don Hurt. So if you want to do jingles or you want to do whatever, we help. We do everything. So yeah. Yeah, I think I might go up to another grade sandpaper. I don't know if this stuff's a little bit too coarse or not. I think it may be. Maybe not. It's taking out this here. Sorry guys, here. There we go. It is let's see. I don't know, maybe not. Oh no, it's not too coarse. It's not too coarse. It's just I gotta smooth it out a little bit more and get those the dark marks, because those are like scratches. So if I just sand those out and be really super gentle on it. Yeah, those marks are definitely coming out. So yeah, that's a good thing. What I think it is, because the grains on the back of the guitar, it's a different grain pattern, and that seems to be where the scratches occur, because it's the grains are like on an uneven level. So yeah, smooth as a baby's ass. Yeah. You don't necessarily want it as smooth as a baby's ass. But yeah, it's just the raised parts where the grain is higher, and you get that with these hard woods. Maple is harder to work with than most woods because the grains are at, well, any hardwoods like that, because, well, maple has a tendency of the grains raising, and sometimes you'll have a little bit of, you'll have higher areas, and especially where the grain pattern is. So if you notice where there's more of the whiting, which are scratches, that's where the areas are higher. So it's just a matter of babying it, so to speak, and but you don't want it too smooth, because then the second coat won't adhere. So you kind of have to have a bit of a balance between really smooth and rough. If I use Danish oil, I wouldn't have to do as much sanding. It's just a matter of wiping it on and then just do a bit of rough up, and then away you go. I think that's probably why a lot of guitar luthiers prefer to use that as opposed to doing a varnish. I went with varnish because I know how it should look, and I've worked with varnish an awful lot, so plus I like the finish that it has when it's done. Unfortunately, I can't shine any light on this, because if I could shine the light on it and get the sunlight on it, like, you'll actually see how well it's just radiating. And we should focus on this part here. So have you got any plans before the end of the summer? Yeah. Well, it's right now I've already put one coat of varnish on it, so I'm prepping for the second coat. The second coat is what's really gonna it's going to hide the grain. It's going to actually seal up all the grains for sure, and it's going to be the top coat. So this coat, everything's just pretty much absorbed into the wood. And I'm doing thin coats. Some people, some people will do thick coats, some people do thin. I do thin coats just because if something does go wrong, it'll be a lot easier to sand it out. If you do really thick coats and you fuck it up, then you have to get out the grinder and oh yeah, the grains. Too, the grains will, as I do more and more coats, the grain will just pop out more and more. Oh, I have a trip to Toronto for Labor Day. Oh, cool, cool. That's good. Whereabouts? So you live in Canada then? I take it. I'm 200 kilometers from Toronto. Actually, I'm in London, which is. Okay, so just about satisfied with that. Oh, you're from Michigan. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you're not, well, that's good. So are you going to go to the CNE? Attending, oh, you Maple Leaf Gardens, so going to, who are you going to see? Korean band named 17. Never heard of them before. What genre of music are they? I take it rock and roll. Oh, K-pop. Okay, K-pop. Yeah, that was really, K-pop was really popular in the 80s. And a lot of the younger kids in Korea, in the Asian countries, kind of are into the K-pop thing. It's kind of funny when something goes out of style in North America and Europe, it becomes really popular in the Asian nations. Oh, you're going along for the ride. Well, just make sure that you bring a tape cassette with bring your Sony Walkman and a tape cassette of of 3 Day Dog Night or whatever music you're into, while you can listen to that while your kids are engulfed in the concert. Oh, oh, okay. So you're going via rail. Yeah, it's yeah. Taking the train places is a lot more fun than what it is flying. You get to see the whole countryside. When I went to Vancouver for 6 months, I took the train there, and it was beautiful. And then I flew back, and I regret it. It was a lot more expensive. It's a lot more expensive for the train. Oh yeah, you got to take your earplugs. Yeah, oh, so yeah, you're on a train, so there's no escaping when she's listening to the stuff all the whole time. It's just like, having it cranked up all the way, and then you go to the concert and you have to listen to something that you heard like a million times. Yeah, I remember I went to with my girlfriend. We went. Her son was into rap and that. We went to a concert, and I think it was Mac Taylor or some rapper or whatever. And we were upstairs on the veranda part of the music hall, and like we're sitting up there getting gibbled and having a good time while the kids were enjoying the rap. And all we could hear all weekend. It was on a Friday night, and then all fucking weekend, all we could hear them is just fucking listen to the same band the whole time. It's like, well, good thing I play guitar so I could entertain her, so she didn't have to listen to it. But then kids find the stuff we listen to be intolerable. It's like, why do you listen to that stuff? That ain't cool. But then as a parent, you have the privilege of revenge. And when they got all their cool friends and that, you can put on the bell bottoms, the velour suit, the boogie shoes, and use words like, man, I dig this so much, man. I take a shovel everywhere I go, man. I'm digging it. It's dynamite, super fly, brother. Didn't you hear it beating down on the drum? Yeah. Music's a very important thing for everybody, and it's just what they listen to, what somebody listens to, is it feeds some kind of psychological need, and works as an escape or helps a person deal with whatever they got to deal with, and so for a kid, it's a very, very important thing. Take music away from a kid, and it's yeah. Oh, I would if I had kids and my kids were acting up and then they had their cool friends over. I would definitely do stuff to embarrass them just just for the sake of doing it. Yeah. Yeah. Or the threat of embarrassment is even worse than actually embarrassing them, because there's like, oh, please just get it over with and do it. You know. And I remember when I was a kid, uh, I was into hard rock, heavy metal. I was the headbanger, and going and my parents he'd be driving and he was fucking into country, and anyway, he'd be listening to the radio, and then it would be like on the local pop station, and be playing something. And I see somebody cool, it was like walking down the street, the long hair, the high top leather Air Nikes, jean jacket with the collar flipped up, say, hey, and then I'd be like waving, and then he'd roll down the fucking window, put it on a country station, bow, now, now, down, down, down. Fuck. And I'd be just like, oh no, no, hide me, put a blanket. Didn't think it was funny back then, but thinking about it now, you just. And the funny thing is, it never even dawned on me that he was doing it unintentionally, just to embarrass me. And, and that's why he was doing it. I didn't figure out that until I became an adult and said, you know what? When I was looking after my nephew and he was doing all this stuff and acting all so cool and stuff and couldn't be touched, I said, I can do things to make your life miserable. Like what? Oh, well, I can put on some bell bottoms, a velour suit, and a fedora, and I could jump in a nice purple Cadillac, and start listening to some disco. He's just like looking at me. No, no, don't do that. And just figured, yeah. Yeah. Now I know what that cranking the country up was all about. Yeah. The funny thing is, I loved country. Loved it to death. Actually, I loved all kinds of music, but when all your friends are into heavy metal, rock and roll, the last thing you want them to find out is that when they're not around, you're listening to Kenny Rogers. Yeah, this is. So are you gonna stay in Toronto for the weekend, or? Yeah, I'm always pretty happy. I like to entertain, so give me an opportunity to entertain, and I'll do it. I'll do it. Oh, just a quick trip. Well, the advantage of taking the train, unlike driving, is at least you can get gibbled on the train. Wouldn't believe how many business people do that, going on a business like, and we're talking people like Kevin O'Leary, like people that are worth like millions, and they'll take the train, go first class, because when you go first class, if it's over, if it's a 2-hour trip or over, you get 2 drinks. That's including your ticket. You get a hot meal, and you get your own seat. And yeah, so if it's like a 4-hour trip, a lot of people businessmen just get gibbled and get off the train, and they have to have somebody help them. And I've never done that. So just about to the point where I can get out the varnish and put the second coat on, and then tomorrow I'll be back to do a third coat. The next coat I won't have to do as much sanding. Well, if they had good stuff on the train, I wouldn't be getting gibbled. You don't want to get drunk off the good stuff. Yeah, I think I might have to. Now that I think of it, I think I might have to do a higher grit, a finer sandpaper, because I think the 1000 is just a little bit too coarse. So I'm going to go, and I'm going to go with the 1200. I wish my sandpaper was colored like Manny's is. He's got all the good stuff. Oh yeah, that's definitely, this stuff is definitely a lot better. Yep. Yep. Yeah, definitely, this stuff is definitely. What grade is that? Let's see. Actually, maybe I should go. See if I got any 15. Do you go to the 1500 maybe? Yeah. I'm gonna. The 1500 should be even better. Yep, 1500. Yeah, definitely the 1500 is definitely the ticket to use. All right. Yeah, definitely 1500. Yeah, it's a learning process. Yeah, 1500 is definitely the right stuff to use. I could probably go to 2000. Yeah, the 1500 is definitely taking off all the scratches for sure. Yeah, 2 course. Yeah, 80 is that's pretty coarse. When you get into the finer work, you want to get, it's, you don't want to use anything that's coarse. 1000 seem to be too coarse, I guess. Whereas this seems to be really doing the job quite well. It's definitely getting out the scratches, so that says a lot right there. Actually, you can get 60. Yeah, that stuff's that's just like using fucking rocks. If you're going to use 60 grit, you might as well just use a file. too, it could also be me because like I'm obsessed with smoothness and obsessed with, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so. And I know that once I do when I go to put the second coat on, it will smooth it all out, so, because it'll get right into the grains. So it's just, I think I'm just being overly picky. What was that? I felt 60 at the hardware store. I'm not sure. Well, you'd use that for like really, really super rough pine. Usually you use it on a sanding belt. And you're sanding out like imperfections actually in the wood. All right, so I think I'm just about ready to put on the second coat. And then it'll be another 24 hours, and then I can put on the third and then the fourth. And now that I know what sandpaper to use, that goes a long way. Yep. Let's do the top here. Oh, somebody's playing music, doing a community disservice. Okay, cool. See you when you get back. Alright, so now I can start on the second coat. I'm just giving it a brush with the dry, with the dry brush, just to get all the shit off of it. I do have whites. Take white, wipe this shit off. See, you see how shiny that is? That's just with a wipe with a dry cloth. And the reason why I'm getting a bit of red is just because that's, the varnish is just kind of, right now the varnish that's on it is just all kind of on the, that's like it's sunken in on the inside, so I'm going to get a bit of that coloring on my, a little bit of the coloring from the sandy, because the coloring mixes in, so that's all that is. But if you look at that, see how shiny that is? That's like, so just wipe that. Yeah, some of the because it blends in with the coloring, like the first layer will do that. So, and once I get into that second layer, it's gonna, cure all that. But that gives you an idea of what it's going to look like once it's getting closer and closer to being done. I'm getting excited. And this is what I've been waiting for. Oh yeah, that's sweet. I'm just doing a few little touch-up areas here with my Sharpie. see, there's a little touch up here. I might need to do with the sharpening. Nope. And what I should do, let's see if I can get rid of that over there. And I should have thought of this. Yep. Yeah, that's another little trick. The odd areas where the coloring's bad, like just, and you can only, once you do the second coat, you got to do this before you do the second coat, because once you get that second coat on there, whatever you have on the guitar, you're stuck with. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape the headstock, because I should have did that, but yet I'm doing such thin coats, this isn't going to really matter, because it's just going to be a light sanding to get it off. But now that I'm going in the second coat, I need to be a lot more vigilant. So I'm going to do the guitar one more wipe down with a cloth. A damp cloth. One more wipe down, make sure I got all the shavings off and all that other crap. Nothing's... Make sure that's all. All right. Now the second coat, which is the point of no return. Just a minute, I see one spot that I need to sand because I don't like what it looks like. Just a little minor sand in there. Actually, what the fuck? I'm gonna do it this way. You know, I'm using a lot of unconventional methods. A lot of this stuff, when you're having your cabinet built, things that I'm doing are things that they don't let the client see. But how are people going to learn these secrets if somebody doesn't show them? You know, it's you know, all I'm using is just a Sharpie, and there's a few areas that the color is just a little bit inconsistent, and I'm just using a Sharpie and I'm using the wet cloth just to kind of It's yeah. These are like the things that don't let the customer see that you're doing it. Don't let them know. But they do. But they do it. So I've got all the color shavings off. And everything is ready for the second coat of varnish. So, there you go. Alright. Now, and one thing, this is important for anybody who hasn't done varnishing before. It's very important. Never, ever take your varnish. Yeah, good thing. Yeah, you didn't see what? There was nothing to see. Yeah, good. But anyway, when you never, ever shake your varnish because you'll get bubbles in it, and that's the worst thing you can do. You don't want bubbles in your varnish because then it bubbles up and you have to fucking get a sandblast. You have to get a sander and sand it all off again. So yeah, it's a mess you don't want to get into. And it's something you don't want to end up having to do because there's nothing worse than doing a job and having to do the same job twice. So I'm just going to have a drink of water first, and then I'm going to get to doing the varnish. And it's always a good idea whenever you're doing any sort of work and you're going to do something that requires a lot of precision, is sit back for a bit, think about what you're doing, look at it, triple check, quadruple check, and just look over everything, because you might have missed something, and you know it's always good to take that time. That's why, like in the studio, you'll see this just before they hit the record button and say, okay guys, do it. They'll sit for a second, take a breath, think, and then press the button. Because that's your time to say, okay, if there's anything that I miss, is there anything that I need to do? And that break is very crucial. So it may seem like I'm procrastinating, but I'm actually not. There is a madness to my method. Oh yeah, when you're in Toronto, you gotta stop by Tim Hortons. Get yourself a dark roast and a honey curler. And if you're coming to Canada, you have to go to Tim Hortons. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking my tape and I'm taping off my fretboard so I don't get... Manny would be proud. Too bad he wasn't watching. Watch him show up. Hey, did somebody call my name? So, so I'll just... There we go. I should have did this before I did the first coat, but I need wonder I need wonder if Canada Tim Hortons is better than U.S. Might. Yeah, I'm pretty sure here in Canada it's better because Tim Hortons was invented in Canada, so. So I take it Manny, yeah, oh yeah, that's right too. He's right. Today would be Monday in Australia. The next project I'm going to do is going to be a telly. Yeah, I have some ideas of what I want. To do with it. And of course, it's not going to be your traditional telly. It's going to have my own little twist to it. No, fuck, I can't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, all right. So this is one of the. So if you guys want to see what I'm doing here, I can move my computer over here like that. You just won't be able to see me. And I'm just putting tape on the fretboard so I don't get varnish on it. I know some people would varnish the fretboard. It actually might be a good idea to do, like maybe, but it's not what I'm going to be doing, so I'm just, yeah. I don't want that to. Yeah, what the fuck? I might as well do it the lazy man way. Nobody says I have to do everything the hard way, so. Okay, like this. It almost looks like I know what I'm doing. And if the telly goes well, I'll make a guitar that I'll probably try to that I'll sell. Yeah, all right, here we go. All right. There's that one little part there. And I got the fretboard. All right, now I can computer. All right, so now I got that done. Now I can varnish. So, and what I'm doing is I'm hanging it up behind me, and I have to use. So if you're wondering what the tie, why I have a clip tie. that is the reason. Yeah. Yeah, so because I'm hanging up by that, so it's just kind of, look on the end, if you look at the little tie thing, zip tie. And that's what that's for. So, one more look over of my work. Do a bit of a cleanup here on my bench. And one more look over before I start. Oh, there's a squirrel. Come on. No, you don't want to come. Alright, so here it goes. Yeah, alright. Where did my little file thing go? Oh, there it went. Alright, so put that up there. Alright. Alright. And the birdie's singing again. I know I don't have to do the inside, but hey, whatever. Might as well, right? All right. Just checking out on the light. Making sure there's nothing. Sitting on top. Sure that every spot has varnish on it. Once it dries, there's my squirrel friend again. Fuck. What the fuck is that? Fuck. You know, something got on the fucking body. I don't know what the fuck it is, but... The bottom first. try to check her out in the light, see what she looks like. It's always good to get a look in natural sunlight. Yeah, it's, well, I hope it turns out to look good. I really do. I'm putting my heart and my soul and my blood in it. So I'll be right back. So now,
looking pretty shiny.
hey, good, yeah, you just came just in time. Just hold on, guys, I just got to mute for a second. All right, I'm back. Sorry, guys. Just had to have some help, and yeah, so that's looking good. I got to do the headstock now, and and that should be the finishing touch. And just yeah. Unfortunately, you can't see me doing the headstock, which wow, this stuff really starts to dry real quick. So I'm just doing the headstock right now. Oh. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to smooth out where I got fingerprints on the guitar. So the tape kind of stuck to the neck. We can't have that, unfortunately. So I've got fingerprints. I just gotta make sure I don't got any runs. A job like this almost requires two people. It's weird.
Oh,
Just
it's okay. No, it's okay.
Just give me 1 second, guys. Alright, so she's hanging up right now. So there we go. I better stop that from swinging. Make sure there aren't any runs anywhere. Oh, look at that. That's, yeah. Just want to see it turn light on for a second. A little bit more. That's not really a whole lot of light there, so yeah. But, if I can just a minute. So there she is. That's, I don't know what I'm going to name her either. Haven't come up with a name for her yet. Oh, I see her run. I see her fucking run. Can't have fucking runs. It happens. These are one of the last fucking minute things that happen, and yeah, pay attention to it before you leave. And having runs, you got those. They're a pain in the ass to sand out. Oh, why is there that? Okay, so that's. Run there. So yeah, just make sure there aren't any runs in her, and I don't see any more. Which is good. Yeah. All right. So there we go. That's, she's gonna sit like that. I may be back tomorrow, maybe not. And then get back at her again. And another coat of varnish. And I probably won't have to do as much sanding tomorrow as I did today. It'll be a really, really super light, just roughen it up a bit. And I know the proper gauge of sandpaper to use, so that's always good to know. If I do have any runs, I'll be able to sand those out. It'll be a pain in the ass to do, but you know, that's all part of the work. And yeah, so if I need to sand some shit out, I can do that. And then tomorrow will be the third coat. 1, 2, 3. The fourth coat. Oh, the fourth coat's going to really bring those grains out. I'm looking forward to that. And the fifth coat, it's going to just bring everything right out. I'm not happy with the pentagram. There's some kind of color disfiguration there. But unfortunately, there's not a damn thing I can do about that. Yeah, so I'm gonna just have. Well, actually, there might be something I can do. I can do something. I got an idea. It'll work. Yeah, it'll work. And that's one of the advantages of having a creative mind. Oh, okay, those are the holes, okay. Yeah. And it's one of the advantages of having a creative mind. You know, you can, so that's just going to hang there for tonight. And then tomorrow, if I can do this, that'll be coat number 3, and the day after tomorrow, that'll be 4, then 5, and 6, 7. If I put 10 coats of high gloss shellac of this varnish on, holy fuck, you know how that's gonna fucking shine? That's gonna be like, well, now there is, you might think might be a great idea because it'll get it nice and shiny and just bring it right out. Actually, there is such thing as too many coats of varnish. Oh yeah, no problem. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate as many the viewers and that and that and yeah. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate that. And I may be able to be here tomorrow and do the 3rd coat. So till then, if I can do this, if I can do another coat tomorrow, that'll be good. If not, Tuesday. So thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe to all your friends. This is Mr. Blackstone signing out saying hail fucking Satan and hail Amun Ra. All right.